Hey folks, today we're going to answer the question, why do you need a gas mask and why is it essential in your emergency preparedness kit?
We have a terrible system in this place, and you'd think with all the billions we give out to the executive branch, we don't give much to ourselves. So here we are. Okay.
My name is Sandy Mikhail. I am here to testify about my experience of being poisoned in the Tokyo subway in 1995.
Gas mask can protect you and your family from serious and harmful situations. Let's look at a couple reasons why you might need a gas mask on hand or in your emergency preparedness kit. First on my list is going to be natural disasters. Natural disasters is an occurrence that happens all around the United States and across the globe. Everything from fires to hurricanes to earthquakes to tornadoes, and the list goes on. And why a gas mask is an essential in situations like these. So first, let's look at dangerous environments. And what I mean by dangerous environments is a situation where, let's say, your house is on fire or a building's on fire and whatnot. A gas mask can help you get through that situation and help you breathe a lot easier, because what type of chemicals are being burnt in that fire, the smoke, and how it affects your lung capacity and your vision. Having the proper gas mask in a situation like that can be very detrimental to the safety of you and others. Let's look at natural disasters in general. Let's say, be it let's say hurricane, earthquake. Specifically, let's kind of focus in on earthquakes real quick. As we've seen in the past in earthquakes, they've damaged places like, let's say in Japan, you had earthquakes and tsunamis that damaged the nuclear plant in their area. So having the proper gas mask and the proper filter associated with that gas mask can prevent from you breathing in radiation and other harmful chemicals that might be surrounding that situation in that natural disaster. Now let's look at something that we've all just been through. Let's say a pandemic. Having a proper gas mask will prevent things from harmful viruses and bacteria from getting into your lungs. You have to look at it from that perspective. I know most folks don't plan on going into some sort of Walmart or chain box store like that with a gas mask on, but if there is a severe situation like what we had in the past with a pandemic, that's something that had a high kill ratio, having a gas mask can save you and your family. All right, so let's kind of look at something that's in the news currently right now. There was a train derailment over, I think it's in Ohio, correct? If I'm wrong, please correct me down in the comments. But there's basically a fire. People were evacuated from that area within a 2-mile radius, and I think they've even pushed it back, and having a gas mask, because who knows what chemicals are leaching into the air. So that's the kind of thing that you want to look at. You never know what's going to arise, and I'm pulling things out of the news that are happening right now to kind of show you the situation, how important a gas mask is to you and the people that you care for. Let's look at the whole balloon situation that came across the United States, and of course there's been 2 or 3 others. Let's look at that really quick. So what about if those balloons were carrying some sort of chemical weapon or a biological weapon? This is hypothetically speaking, but you kind of get my drift where something like this can come in handy, because once something like that, let's say a payload, starts to expel itself across the United States, being ready and being prepared is going to be key to the safety of you and your family. All right, so let's look at the worst case scenario, nuclear warfare. Did you know the world has over a combined, I think, a total of 13,000 nuclear warheads? 13,000, folks. That's enough to destroy this planet probably 100-fold. But, you know, a lot of people make jokes about it that that'll never happen. Hopefully it won't. But what if it does? Some people say, well, if that does happen, I don't want to be alive. But what happens if it's something that you are trying to survive through? You know, what happens if you do have a bunker or a place, or you're not near one of these large explosions that happen to take out a population? What about if it's an EMP, right? And there's still radiation in the clouds, and it happens to rain and the wind, and all that creates some sort of situation where you're dealing with radiation. Well, having the proper gas mask and the proper filter associated with that can truly benefit you if you're trying to survive a scenario like that. Not all folks want to survive a scenario like that, but you, most likely people that are into emergency preparedness, probably want to. You want to survive, you want to thrive, you want to be that person to help save your family and save the people that you care for. You want to be and have the proper equipment to do so. Now, we're going to look at several different types of gas masks, and I don't want you guys to fall for certain situations, because there's gas masks on Amazon that are absolutely worthless. There's gas masks that you can find on eBay stores and other places like Craigslist that are absolutely worthless. You want to make sure if you're going to purchase a gas mask, you buy the proper one. Second of all, when you're looking at something like that, when you're looking at buying a gas mask, some people think, wow, a good gas mask is going to cost me a lot of money. That probably is, depending on your income. Some people say, well, I can't afford that, Gray. Well, I understand. But do you want to look at your survivability versus a few $100s, right? That's how I have to look at it. Is the money worth you surviving? Now you say, well, I don't care about surviving. I get that. But if you do care about surviving, you want to invest the money. If you plan on buying something like this for you and your family, to make sure you invest it in something that's going to actually be safe and effective. You don't want to buy something off Amazon and hope that it works. You want to buy something that you know that works. So we're going to look at a couple of different types of gas masks in this video and kind of give you an idea of what you should be looking for and my suggestion on what gas masks you should get. All right, so let's take a look at the most common gas masks that you can find on eBay, Craigslist, and all the other places like that. You'll find one of these things, either Israeli gas mask, I think this is a Finnish gas mask, and the list goes on. This is probably the worst thing that you can possibly do. You're like, wow, this is 30 bucks. This is awesome. You're going to get something like this. You're going to get a bag to put it in. You're going to be like, man, this is so great. I have a whole kit. You're going to get probably a filter that looks very similar to this right here. And there's a lot of things wrong with this picture, folks. And especially this filter is not, and we're going to go over this type of filter that's sealed and has a specific threading on there. If you look at this filter, it doesn't have very much information on here. It's in a different language. Who knows how old this filter is? It's not being protected from heat. How long has it been sitting on a shelf somewhere? And you're going to say, I'm going to buy this because it's 30 bucks and it's the cheapest thing I can do. And it looks cool, right? If you're going to buy this for a costume, great. But please do not buy this for you or the people that you care about, because most likely it's going to create a situation where it's going to fail. All right, so now let's look at what kind of gas mask you get on Amazon. To me, I find this is the most highly rated, most purchased gas mask on Amazon. Here's my perspective on it. I think the people that are buying this gas mask are most likely buying this to probably work on cars, or they use some sort of environmental protection where they're doing stuff with chemicals and stuff like that. They'll come with filters that look like this. Now here's a pro. This filter is sealed, but it's only rated for so much. This is probably rated for chemical irritants and so on and so forth. Let's say like aerosols and stuff like that, where you see things like, hey, you're going to be spray painting a car or using some sort of harmful chemical that's in aerosolized form. This might work, but will it work for a nuclear situation? Will it work for a biological situation or a radiological situation? You can't going to get my drift with this, right? So this is a thing that you need to be careful with. Now, this gas mask is going to run you 129 to 159 bucks, maybe even possibly higher. But will it save your life? I wouldn't bet mine on it. So, folks, don't go and spend $130 to $160 on a gas mask like this. You're probably great. Well, why do you have one? Well, I take the hit to help inform my customers, to make them help you make better decisions in regards to things that you should be purchasing and focusing your money on. Because if you buy this, you think you're okay, that might not be the situation for you. And if you look, these filters, the way they go on, they work in a different manner as well. Like I said, these filters are going to clip on like that. Again, it's not a NATO filter, and I'll get into that here in a second, but you kind of get what I'm saying. This is not going to clip onto this, but they do make add-ons and stuff like that. But again, that's another step, and that's another place that things can possibly leach in. I'm not saying it's not safe, but it's the last thing you probably want to do is wear this in a super situation, let's say chemical, biological, and the list goes on. You've probably heard the term CBRN, basically chemical, biological, radiological. God, that's a lot logicals right there, right? And nuclear, okay? So that's what CBRN stands for. You want to get a mask that's rated for CBRN. All right, so if you want my opinion on what gas mask you should buy, and this gas mask is trusted by your fire departments, your military, your police, and so on and so forth. Now, the military, of course, they're going to have the best of the best. But for you as a civilian, this is probably going to be your best bet for buying a gas mask. And something popped up in my head that I didn't cover when I was talking about situations. If you remember in 2020, the rise in 2020, what happens if you having to take, if you're going to have to cut through this crowd, right? And they are shooting tear gas and all kinds of stuff at you. And it's going to choke you out. It'd be nice to have the right gas mask, right? Anyways, we're going to look at the CM-6M by MIRA Safety. Hopefully a lot of you folks have heard that company's name, MIRA Safety. MIRA Safety is probably the best in the industry. Here's what their gas mask looks like. As you can see, they try to duplicate what it looks like with these other masks, but they're nearly not as effective. The rubber seal on this thing is amazing. Folks, this is probably the best gas mask that I've ever experienced. I've talked to a lot of the folks here locally that that work in an environment where they're going to need stuff like this, if you kind of get my drift. And of course, then you have your right filter on there, which is going to connect to here. Now, some folks will use 2 filters, because you can put 2 filters on here, and it makes breathing a lot easier, depending on how old you are and whatnot like that. But 1 filter versus 2 filters that you're going to call, you know, these things are pretty pricey. These filters can run anywhere depending on where you find them at. If you find them on, I don't even know what they're going for on MIRA's website right now, but they can range anywhere from $40 to $80 depending on these filters. You can see they're sealed filters. These are CBRN filters, or NBC as the old term used to be, nuclear, biological, and chemical. Anyways, the design of this thing, full face shield. You're probably wondering, so what would be different than just wearing a respirator? Well, let's say if there's a radiological event or a chemical event, if it touches your skin is going to absorb it. Even certain chemicals can blind you, can create all kinds of different issues on your skin, lesions, you know, blisters and stuff like that, and it's going to get you sick. So you want something that covers your entire face and your eyes. This, by far, fits all those check marks that I'm looking for in a good gas mask. Also, you want a good gas mask that where you speak, it has a voice like diaphragm in here where people can understand what you're saying. If you happen to need some sort of communications, let's say you have your comms or whatnot, you want to be able to speak effectively through using your gas mask. Also, you want to drink water, right? This has a valve that you can connect your, let's say your canteen or whatnot to connect to this so that you can drink water while you're wearing your gas mask, because of course it gets hot in here. You want to make sure that it has an anti-fog coating on the inside, and you want to take care of this gas mask. You probably don't want to leave it up on a shelf like I leave the other gas masks that you've probably seen in some of my videos, just up there, because this is something that I don't truly care about too much. This is properly put up in a space, because the last thing you want to do is put on the gas mask and be breathing in lots of dust and stuff like that. Sure, I guess it'll still work, but you kind of get my drift, right? So MIRA Safety, the CM-6M gas mask. Kind of pull it out. This is what the box looks like. This is one that I bought for my wife just recently. Like I said, MIRA Safety, probably the best gas mask for emergency preparedness. This is from my perspective. There may be others out there, but most of the folks I know in this community would prefer MIRA over anything else. Now, MIRA is going to cost you a little bit more. I'll put a link down in the description so that you can kind of get an idea if you want to buy something like this. Now, this is an adult gas mask, folks. So if you're buying something for a child, then you want to look at a child gas mask. Let's say you have a pet. You want your pet to survive to the end of the world, the apocalypse, whatever it may be, some sort of chemical situation. Believe it or not, they make gas masks for pets as well. It's more of a body thing and kind of stuff like that. So in regards to the filters, basically you want to look for the 40 millimeter NATO sealed filters. These are what's rated for your CBRNs or your NBCs, however you want to use that terminology. This is, you know, your nuclear, biological, chemical, radiological, and so on and so forth. 40 millimeters, folks. This is what you want to have for your mask. And again, I will link all this stuff down below. Not this, 40 millimeter NATO sealed filter. All right, folks, so hopefully this video gives you some information on gas masks and reasons why you need a gas mask and why you should have one in your emergency preparedness kit. Now, this is not covering everything possible with the gas mask. We'd be here for over an hour discussing all the different intricacies of having a gas mask, how to fit it, how to wear it, how to properly store it, and the list goes on. I suggest everyone do follow. If you end up buying something like this, that you follow it with the research, you try them on, you get them fitted, and you keep them where you need to reach them. And what I mean by that is if you have more than one, if you want to keep one in your go bag, some people keep them in their bug out bags. Some people keep them in their night drawer like myself, because I want readily quick access to this thing. Having a proper bag to store the gas mask in is also going to be beneficial to you. You just don't want to let the gas mask to the elements and stuff like that, and having these ready. Now, some folks will also, they'll put these on their gas mask and let them sit there, which is fine and dandy, but just remember, everything has kind of, let's say, an expiration date. So you want to look at how long will this last in this form, where it's all sealed, versus how long will it last attached to your gas mask. Anyways, folks, I hope that you got some value out of this. I hope it steers you in the right direction. Like I said, if you want more information from MIRA Safety, click down in the link description down below. That'll take you to their website. And of course, if you happen to do purchase anything from them, I am an affiliate partner with MIRA Safety, which I'm very grateful to be with, because I stand by a company like that. You want to stand by certain companies that just represent the best of the best. Anyways, folks, remember, folks, you are not alone. This is GreyMan. I'm out. I'll see you guys in Rebound. God bless.